Live from the Dr. Jerry Henderson Radio Complex, it's time for Card Guys. And now, here's your host, Anthony Schulte.
Good morning. Thank you, Michael, for the intro as always, and welcome to Card Guys Detroit Sports Talk, Season 4, Episode 15. Coming up today, a lot has happened since our last broadcast. The Pistons and Red Wings continuing their playoff push. Yesterday was Selection Sunday, which means it's time to fill out your brackets. It's March Madness season, and we will be filling out our brackets here today on the program. I'm Anthony Schulte, and joining me as always is my man, Ryan Donnelly.
Hope your Monday is going well. Hope your spring break, CMU students, was going well. And before we move on with today's show, no, I don't know where my pot of gold is. No, I am not at the end of the rainbow with the pot of gold.
Oh, yeah, it is St. Patrick's Day, isn't it?
Just,
It
yeah.
is.
I got a lot of people texting me yesterday, where's your pot of gold? Where's your pot of gold? Well, I'm sorry, I don't have any. I'm not a leprechaun.
All right. I forgot it was St. Patrick's Day completely.
Yeah, today is St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I completely forgot about
That it
that.
is.
Right next to me, Mr. Michael Rosenkranz.
Great to be back on a Monday. Spring break was nice, but they always go by too quick. But it's the final push of the semester. The first 8 weeks went quick. Who's to say these next 8 weeks won't go by quick? But we got an action-packed show for you today.
Yes, we do. Let's start off with our 3 stars. Michael, how about you kick us off here?
Absolutely. So my third star, I'm going to go with a little bit of CMU lacrosse to start out. I'm going to start with Layla Kaler for CMU. She had her first career start yesterday afternoon, although Central Michigan did fall in a heartbreaker 10-9 in overtime to Kent State. Layla faced a total of 41 shots that Kent State had, and she more than doubled her career total with 13 saves, and just in her prior 6 appearances, she had just 12. So just to get that career high in saves in a really important game in the MAC when it really mattered, and just to see her flourish out there on the pitch yesterday was really good to see, and good to see her get some playing time. My second star will stick with CMU lacrosse. Let's go with Celia Dow. She had 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points to lead the Chippewas in scoring. I also have her in one of my classes at 2 o'clock, along with Sadie Hinkle on Tuesdays, so I know a couple of lacrosse players, so I'll make sure I have to catch up with them tomorrow afternoon and tell them about the game. But she had a good performance again, although the loss did sting. My first star, let's jump to the NBA. Let's go with the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
We need chicken dinner.
Yes, sir. The Bucks, they lost to the Thunder 121-105, but Giannis, 21 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists in 36 minutes. Yet another triple-double for Giannis, a wonderful performance from him, and the race is still close in the Eastern Conference, so lots of key stuff to watch out for, but those are my 3 stars.
The Thunder on a back-to-back after coming into Detroit and having a hard-fought game to the wire, blowing out the Bucks. On a back-to-back on the road. The Thunder definitely, as the youngest team, the best team in the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Before we move on, Michael, Isaac pointed this out a couple days ago, but Giannis hasn't gotten really a lot of media attention lately.
No,
he hasn't.
So
What happens when you're on a mediocre small market team?
It's starting to become the fact that Giannis is going to be looked at as underrated now. So that's Isaac Havenden pointed that out on his story the other day, and I kind of agree. Anyways, my 3 stars. My third star, I'm going with Anthony Edwards. Last night against the Utah Jazz in their 128-102 blowout win. 41 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, a plus-minus of plus 31. He had 21 points in the first quarter. Anthony Edwards had a phenomenal game last night against the Utah Jazz. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but my second star is Peter Mrazek.
Who would have thought?
Wow!
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it?
Had an 18 shot shutout against the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and I was in attendance for that game. Holy cow. He's looked so good under the Red Wings. He's played 2 games, he has 2 wins, and he's only given up, I believe, 2 or 3 goals. Unbelievable. He comes to Detroit and somehow he brings like a good team morale for some reason.
Turns into Peter Mrazek of old.
Yes.
Yes,
We'll
the
talk
glory
about it.
years of Peter Mrazek.
We'll talk about it later in the show. But my first star, I got to go with Dusty May. I mean, you literally
Yes.
he took Michigan from worst to first. We went from the worst team in the Big Ten last year at 8-24, and now we won the Big Ten tournament, and we're a 5th seed in the tournament. We'll talk about that in our bracket, but Dusty May, you, as a Michigan fan for almost 11 years now, you've taken this teams to heights I can't even believe that we're at right now. Winning the Big Ten tournament is crazy after going 8-24 with Juwan Howard.
Kobe.
Yes. So thank you, and I trust you in this tournament. You've taken a team to the Final Four before. I'm not saying you might take Michigan to the Final Four, but I hope you do. And those are my 3 stars.
Yeah, and I think it shows in basketball just how important coaching is, because you look at what Dusty May does coming into Michigan, flipping the program basically on its head in a good way. And then, I mean, you can look at it with the Pistons too, J.B. Bickerstaff.
Yeah.
Worst, not first, but I mean, in our heads first.
Worst is better.
You turn the worst situation probably in NBA history into an incredible situation because you care, you coach well, and your players play for you.
And you wanted to be there.
Exactly. And when your players play for you as a coach, there's nothing better than that, because the team that brings the team chemistry all the way up. All right, I'll quickly go through my 3 stars. My 3rd star, y'all gonna hate me for this, Cade Cunningham.
I won't hate
Who
you.
else?
I won't hate you for it, but my dad might.
38 points and 10 assists while I was in attendance for 3-1-3 night.
Yes.
Free throw merchant. I can't believe he got 21 free throws. That's a career high. He had his first technical foul, of that game, career first, and he also got ejected for the first time in his career. The next game. So we'll talk about that in a little bit with our Pistons. But Cade Cunningham is my 3rd star, and my 2nd star, Luka Doncic. 45 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 3-pointers against the Milwaukee Bucks in a loss. Still, 45 points is 45 points. Luka's really been putting it together ever since he's kind of gotten adjusted, or ever since he's adjusted to the new play style and the new offense of the Lakers. I knew it was a matter of time for him to kind of put it together and start playing like Luka of old, and he has. So everybody's saying that Luka sucks when he first got to L.A., yeah, you try being a player of Luka's caliber and just getting thrown into a brand new offense after being with the team for 7 years in the middle of a season after being shell-shocked at it happening.
While being on an injury.
While coming off of an injury.
Exactly.
It was a recipe for disaster for the first few games, but he's put it together, and he has really just been incredible, to say the least. My 1st star, how about Trey Donaldson?
Yes.
What a play. I saw this live and in living color at a Chili's. I saw this play on the Chili's big screen in the Chili's bar. 12 points and 9 assists, but I think 2 of those 12 were the most important. Blazing down the court with 5 seconds left and hitting the go-ahead layup with 0.4 on the clock.
Terrible defense by Maryland.
I-
Awful.
I don't think people realize just how difficult it is to get the ball up the court for a layup with time to spare in 5 seconds. The out of bounds play coming out of that was executed perfectly. Perfect screen. I think that was either Golden or Wolf who executed that screen to get him the open lane. But to get down the court in 5 seconds and get a layup, not a 3-pointer, not a mid-range, a layup where you have all the advantage going up. That was an incredible play, and I feel like, people don't understand just the degree of difficulty that play
In
had.
transition, your forward momentum is insane, so it's like you can't even stop yourself.
You
When
don't
you're
have much
going
time to
that
think
fast.
either. You have
Oh,
5
no.
seconds. You just gotta go and hopefully something happens in your favor, and that did, putting Michigan into the championship game and ultimately winning against Wisconsin. Again, we'll talk more college hoops in the second half of today's program. All right, let's start off with the Detroit Red Wings, shall we? The Detroit Red Wings. I had in my graphics for this show originally that they were struggling. 7 of 9, they've lost 7 of 9, but I want to be positive here as we kick off the latter stretch of this show, of this season, this show series. I want to be positive. Nobody expected to shut out the Golden Knights yesterday.
No.
Nobody expected that. So we're going to talk positively to start. However, we need to go through the games that we have missed here on the program because
there's a lot.
We have missed a little bit of time here. So our final show was on
March 3rd.
Monday, March 3rd.
Monday, March 3rd. All right, that's all the way up here. So you lose to the Hurricanes the day after our final show. And then you lose to Utah.
Yeah.
And then you lose to the Capitals. And then you lose to the Senators.
And then a heartbreaker.
Exactly. You put up a touchdown on the Sabres. And then you lose to the Hurricanes. And now you get back a win against the Golden Knights. Since we've last talked, we have slipped. Since we've last been with you guys, we have slipped in the standings. We are now 5th in the wild card standings with, is it 70 points?
70.
Yes.
Yes, 70 points. We're 2 points back of that wild card spot. Last year, we went on a little bit of a tough stretch, didn't we, in March?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This year, again, a little bit of a tough stretch. But the game yesterday was incredible. You were touching on it. Peter Mrazek, shutout. I personally didn't watch the game. I was busy with other, things. However, it was a good game. I was box score watching as I usually do with the Red Wings. Sorry, I have Pistons and WWE and other things, but it was a good game nonetheless.
Yeah, I was there in attendance for both the Sabres and the Golden Knights game. I mean, I was technically working, but I was there for the majority of the Golden Knights game. I've never seen a place more electric in my life. This was coming after the Cade Cunningham ejection, which we'll talk about later on in the show. Our 5-on-5 scoring has looked a lot better in the past couple weeks. Despite these losses, our 5-on-5 scoring has been still pretty bad, but the past couple games, starting in Buffalo, really good. I want to give a couple shout-outs. Albert Johansson yesterday had probably the most beautiful toe drag goal I have ever seen. Marco Kasper, he's been probably the team MVP for the past week now. I think he's had 3 goals in the past three games. He had 2 against Buffalo, and then he had 1 last night against the Knights. Marco Kasper, 13 goals on the year. Yeah, he's been a very surprising piece to this Red Wings team.
We said after preseason that we thought he was going to be a really good piece for this team, and he's turned out to be a really solid piece.
He had 2 goals against the Senators in a preseason game. I was there for that one. But yeah, Marco Kasper, I mean, he's been a really solid prospect, but the fact that he not only was proving it in the preseason and now proving it in the regular season, has been incredible stuff. So Raymond was due for a goal. He finally got one yesterday, 23rd of the year. Cat has been cooking. He has now 30 goals in the year.
31, I think, but his point streak, I think, was snapped last night. But he's been cooking. Yeah,
Everybody's been cooking. I mean, sure, we're 70 games, or we have 70 points. Sure, we're 5 games out or we're technically 4 games out of the second wild card spot. You got to realize the Rangers, they have 72 points and we have 70. If we win tomorrow against Washington, we tie. And if we win, If we win on Saturday against the Knights, we might be in that spot. Might. So it's not completely over until it's over. I think the past 3 games kind of prove that we still are kind of in it. So all you got to do is keep winning. The schedule is not that easy, but you just got to keep winning these games, and you got to get over the hump, which is the Canadiens and the Blue Jackets. And the Senators, they've been cooking, so you can't even secure that first wild card spot anymore because they've been on a really, really nice hot streak. But Red Wings, you just got to win 2 games, and you most likely tie for that second wild card spot. Michael?
And you just got to hope that the Rangers lose because let's remember, the Rangers have all 3 games on you. So they have the tiebreaker. So
doesn't Columbus have a tiebreaker on us?
I think
too?
Columbus now has a tiebreaker on us as well.
Both those games.
Which were must-win games.
We've discussed those games.
Yes, which is why Columbus is above us right now.
We don't
they have
the
the
tiebreaker over Montreal, right?
I do not believe so, but I know we play them in the future.
That'll be a big one.
The next 2 games for the Red Wings, Capitals tomorrow night, which I'm predicting a loss, And Saturday is against the Knights in Vegas. I'm also predicting that as a loss because they're going to be upset about. They're going to be upset about yesterday afternoon.
Oh, yeah. The Vegas Golden Knights has a very nice hockey atmosphere. So
they really do.
For a team in the desert, their fan base is crazy.
Their stadium too is just fantastic.
I want to go there someday.
Definitely, but yeah, just got to try and keep stringing wins together. We've always touched on it on this show. The NHL's a weird league, man. Any team can have an off night. Vegas had an off night. And the parity, it happens. Red Wings got a really fortunate win, a huge 2 points that kind of keeps them in it. Now, you make a good point about Ottawa. You're not touching them because they've won 6 straight, and they have no signs of slowing down. Ottawa's in the first wild card. New York's in the second wild card, who has a tiebreaker over you. Columbus has a tiebreaker over you. And you play Montreal later in your schedule. April 8th. April in the D. And that is in Montreal. So that game will be tough to win on the road. But you don't have to go too far from Detroit to Canada. So, yeah, that game's just a must-win. Just try and find a way to continue to play good hockey. And next 2 games, again, I'm probably predicting a loss. The next win where I could potentially see you steal one on the road is Utah, but this is a 4-game road trip. This is integral to try and get back into it. You have to steal some points on the road.
For sure. So the Red Wings, they play tomorrow. Big game against the Capitals at 7 o'clock, so we'll be looking forward to that. The Detroit basketball Pistons have been playing some basketball as of late.
Yes, they have.
Whether for better or worse, who knows? So, since our last broadcast, we go into Utah and absolutely smack them on their home court. That was an incredible.
We got our get back.
Yes, we did. Wednesday, March 5th, the day before exams. How about a 10:30 nail biter to 1 a.m.? 1 a.m. nail biter. That's what we want. Oops. That's what we want before exams. But Clippers take care of us on their home floor.
On a James Harden 50 bomb.
Oh, yeah. James Harden. And then you go into Golden State. Another close battle. You lose by a hair. You're in it the entire game. Few mistakes throughout the game leads to that loss. Then you go into Portland. You barely beat Portland. And I say barely because you should be taking care of teams like Portland fairly single-handedly. And then you take care of the Wizards. All right, it got a little bit close here and there. I said on my story, what the Pistons do with these lesser teams, they take those games for granted. They think that they're automatic wins, and then all of a sudden they're like, oops, they're an NBA team. And all of a sudden it's a 6-point game in the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter, and you really need to lock in when you could just be up by 25 and then take the rest of the night off because you're already up by 25. But nope, we're just going to let them come back in and make it a 6-point game, make it a little bit interesting. You still took care of the Wizards, took care of business, nothing to scoff at there. And then you get to Thursday, March 13th. 3-1-3 day. Celebration down in Detroit at Little Caesars' Arena. I, for one, got a chain. It was a spinner chain. Very nice giveaway item. Place was jumping. You gave up 69 points in the first half to the Washington Wizards. You decide not to play perimeter defense because, what's a 3-point line? The Wizards suck. They won't make them. Oops, they made them. You're taking care of the ball. You were abysmal taking care of the ball. Your offensive sets looked terrible. And now all of a sudden, you're in a hole at halftime. The 42 Doug halftime performance was spoiled by the Pistons not playing basketball the correct way. You come back, though, in the third quarter. At the end of the third quarter, the place is jumping. That's the loudest I've heard LCA.
I can attest to that.
The place was packed. You ended that third quarter, could have ended it better. And then you get to the fourth quarter. And you can't close out a game against Washington because you're still not playing perimeter defense. We'll come back to that game in a minute. I have something to say about that game in a minute. Then you have a bounce back game, an opportunity for redemption against the Thunder, an opportunity at a bounce back game against the Thunder. No Chet Holmgren, no J-Dub. You come out and you go on a 24-3 run at the end of the first quarter into the second. couldn't script it better myself. You're playing amazing basketball. And then the referees decide to get in on the action. And they were like, no, these $150 tickets were meant for us, not the actual game at hand. The referees decided to play their card in the Oklahoma City Thunder winning a basketball game. I've watched Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a lot over the last couple weeks.
Dude's insane.
While he's very talented, and my dad agreed, he's like, this kid's talented. He's very athletic. He knows how to get around defenders. It's impossible to watch him because of the whistle that he has, the amount of fouls called, the amount of times he pushes off with his arm and it's not called, the amount of times you simply do this to him and you're being looked at for a flagrant 2 penalty. Look, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, great talent. He's not the MVP. It's Nikola Jokic.
Agreed.
Because Nikola Jokic is more valuable to the Nuggets than Shai is to the Thunder. And you can actually watch Jokic without wanting to rip your hair out. And I think that's very important. I'm going to go back to that Wizards game because.
Hello.
No. Okay.
Sorry.
What? I completely forgot what. Oh, there we go. I remember. I remember now. I'm just getting back into it. We're getting back into the swing of things, folks.
Hang in there, baby.
We're getting back into the swing of things on this show. All right. It's been 2 weeks without a program. Mm-hmm. This loss against the Wizards is actually good. And you might be thinking, Anthony, why is this loss good? Well, let's take a look at the playoff picture, shall we? Take a look at the playoff picture. You win that game, you're basically still in the running for the 4th and 5th seed. We still are in the running for the 4th or 5th seed, but you don't want to play Milwaukee. Milwaukee will single-handedly beat us in a series. Mm-hmm. They have our number. They know how to play us. You don't want to play a division foe in the playoffs. You just don't want to.
2019.
That brings up the Pacers. You don't want to see the Pacers in the first round.
No.
Especially in this team's first playoff series. While it would be entertaining for us fans, I'd rather see us win a playoff series than,
Isaiah Stewart try to do something to Tyrese Halliburton.
Look,
because
that series would
both
be
teams
great.
hate each other.
That series would be great. We're not beating the Pacers in a series.
Oh, no.
It's just not happening.
Oh, no.
However, there's a team that we can beat in a series that is beat up, that, they're still trying to build their chemistry, and that we actually have a winning record against this season. Undefeated in their own home. That's the New York Knickerbockers. And right now, as the 6th seed, if everything stays the same, we play the Knicks. We practically we have the 6th seed locked up. Hawks are not catching up to us. We have a big, big cushion against the Hawks. You stay in that 6th seed and play the Knicks, you have a better chance of winning a playoff series. In my opinion. You know how to play the Knicks better. You match up with the Knicks better, and they're not a division foe. Playing a division rival or playing a division opponent never bodes well in the playoffs, especially for a young team that has no playoff experience. Compared to teams that the Bucks just won a championship a couple years ago with kind of the same roster. The Pacers just made the Eastern Conference Finals last season. They have experience. They know what to do. You don't. You don't want to play them. Granted, the Knicks have playoff experience too, but they have a completely different roster basically from last season. So that's my little blurb about the Wizards' loss. The Cade technical. The double technical on Cade. Refs taking over, a lot of ref ball.
I couldn't believe my eyes.
Absolutely incredibly disgusting that you make a mistake, Cade calls you out on it. NBA players cuss at referees and cuss on the court all the time. It's just what happens. So they get a little upset about Cade cussing, throw a technical. And then Cade continues to argue the call because it was the wrong call. They give him another technical and throw him out for the first time in his career. Completely egotistical, way too over-emotional. NBA referees, there needs to be a complete overhaul in the second half of the season because it's abysmal. It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's been terrible, and I can attest to both the Wizards and the Thunder because I was there for both games, well, working. But I was in the bowl for the Wizards game. How the living heck did you let the Washington Wizards shoot 44% from three?
Pick me.
Anthony?
You don't play perimeter defense and let them shoot as many threes as they want.
Correct. And they didn't do that. 44% from three from one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA is ridiculous.
I think the metric you got to look at here is... Never mind. I can't find it. It was going to be first half three-pointers.
I don't think it's on here. Anyways,
I tried finding it and it's not.
Yeah. You just don't do that. I mean, I like the fight towards the end of the game. We had a great fight, but
I clicked the wrong game.
Just how'd you let the Washington Wizards shoot 44% from three? Michael, how do you do that?
Well, to go off my fellow comrade Anthony here, you leave them wide open on the perimeter and you just let them shoot the three ball.
Play better perimeter defense. It's ridiculous.
The Wizards shot 19 threes in that game. We won by 20. You want to know how many threes they shot in this game? I clicked on the wrong game, folks. That's why I was confused. They shot 45 three-pointers compared to our 30.
And they made 20.
They made 20 three-pointers compared to our 10. That's 30 points left on the board. You lost by 4. Not to mention Cade Cunningham was 0 for 7 from 3 that game. He makes just 2 of those bad boys and we win.
Mm-hmm. Ridiculous stuff. And then the Thunder game on Saturday, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Quick story about that. I was working tickets at the arena, and I heard a loud boo. And the TVs outside the arena, they show what the scoreboard sees, but not what FanDuel sees. So I just saw the NBA fan code of conduct. I had no idea what was happening. I rushed into the bowl thinking, what the heck just happened? I did not see the Cade ejection. He was gone by that point. So I asked the usher, I'm like, what's going on? Why is everybody booing and saying, refs, you suck? And they're like, oh, Cade got ejected because he told everybody to line up for a free throw. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not the MVP. Jokic is doing mind-boggling stuff without getting a
30, 20, and 20.
30, exactly. The first ever 30, 20, 20 game
Insane.
in NBA history.
He had
he's not whistle friendly like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is from the refs.
He had a triple-double, double-double, triple. A triple-double, triple-double-double.
Triple-double, triple-double.
He had 2 triple-doubles. He basically had 2 triple-doubles in one game. 30, 20, and 20. Divide those in half, 15, 10, and 10, 2 times.
Oh.
3 triple-doubles in one, or 2 triple-doubles in one game.
Madness.
I never thought of it that way. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jokic is. I've said this from the jump. Nikola Jokic is the MVP. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets most of his points from the free throw line. He is a ridiculous player, and like Anthony said, he's fun to watch, but he is also very annoying, and I want to rip my hair off every time I want to watch him. And after that technical foul, or that double tech on Cade, I watched the entire game from that bowl. It was not fun, and it was egregious. It was so bad that I left the bowl at the end of the third quarter. It was terrible. I hate you, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and every ref outside of Bill Kennedy should be fired in the NBA. There's a reason why the NBA has a problem, and officiating is one of those many flaws in the NBA.
People don't talk about it enough. They talk about the bad product the NBA puts out there.
They talk about the bad media.
It's the officials.
The officials is one of the reasons.
And also Shaq is another reason, but I digress.
Don't even get me started with Shaq not
Chauncey
being
Billups is our
not
head
being
coach.
Chauncey Billups is the head coach, right?
I don't even watch Detroit. Then why are you talking about us?
Shaq,
you don't even have a note card?
You get paid a bag to sit on national TV and talk about NBA basketball for a living.
Here's my hot take.
Not that the dude needs the money anyway.
Former athletes should never be media analysts. Shaq,
I mean, it depends. If they're smart about the
Perkins,
game.
Richard Jefferson.
I like Kendrick Perkins.
I don't like
him.
him.
Take. I like
I
Kendrick
hate
Perkins.
him. He does not know I mean, he's played basketball, but when it comes to him talking about it, he has no clue what he's talking about.
He's just funny.
I don't care that he's funny. You got to know you're getting paid the big bucks to talk about the sport that you played, and you don't know.
At least he prepares, though. At least he says things that are correct.
Sure.
Right.
Shaq doesn't even jot down a few notes before he goes on
No,
air. He just says whatever's on his mind.
Exactly. He just wings it.
And I don't think he likes Detroit because we beat him in 2004.
Yeah. He's salty about 2004.
I think he's still salty about
that's why he doesn't like us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what I
Real
saw
quick before we have to go to break.
Absolutely. What I saw on Saturday with that Cade ejection, I had my dad, I think he asked me about it. He's just like, I've been hearing all this stories about Cade getting ejected, and when I watched the video, he didn't even do anything. I said, exactly. He didn't do anything. And when I saw that double technical, I lost my mind. I was going nuts. That place at LCA just absolutely jumped.
Loudest I've ever heard.
There were so many fans. That basketball environment that we've been dying to see back in Detroit.
That was a playoff game, right?
That was a playoff game.
Especially towards down the stretch.
Yes. And now that you have, I think, 14 games remaining in the regular season.
Yep.
So it's coming down to the wire. And that place is getting amped up. You love to see that. And good on the fans for calling out the refs. Good on JB Bickerstaff for calling out the refs.
Yep.
That was probably one of the best press conferences I've ever seen.
That's our coach right there.
That is our coach.
Lifetime contract.
Yep.
Coach of the year. If he's not coach of the year, I'm going to throw a tirade.
He probably won't be after that.
Probably not. And for those of you who are living under a rock, go watch JB Bickerstaff's press conference. Number one, you'll see why he's the unanimous coach of the year. And two, unfortunately, he's going to get fined from this because the NBA is soft.
Oh,
but
by the way, while you were talking about your rant, I just made a GoFundMe for JB Bickerstaff's upcoming fine.
Oh, nice.
We might be in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, we really could be from this. But JB Bickerstaff calling the officials out, it's what he does, it's what he's known for in his press conferences, and he's not afraid to speak his mind and call it like it is. I love that about JB. And that was all he had to say before getting up and walking out. It's understandable. He's frustrated. We were all frustrated as Detroit fans.
Hey.
Please, tonight, for the love of God, blow out the Pelicans. You are angry. You are frustrated after those two losses to the Thunder and the Wizards. Blow out the Pelicans.
Mm-hmm. And also, one more thing before we head to break here. Jalen Williams, the free throws that were happening throughout the madness, he shouldn't have been shooting those free throws. They were not in the bonus, and it was a loose ball foul. So they gave him free throws.
That's right.
And they were not in the bonus. This was when Cade got ejected.
I think it was right after. Yeah.
Yeah. They gave him two free throws on a loose ball foul, and they were not in the bonus. So that's a little nugget too there from the NBA officials. All right,
the NBA loves they love their small market teams that are succeeding.
Yeah, I mean, all credit to the Thunder. They're the best team in the league, youngest team in the league.
We did put up a good fight towards the end, even without Cade Cunningham.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I do like about this team, this Pistons team, is that no matter the situation, they just keep on fighting.
Yep. All right, so coming up after the break, we have our brackets. We're gonna try to quickly go through the entire bracket. It's going to be a tough one, but we're going to try. You're watching Car Guys Detroit Sports Talk. We'll be back right after this. Sports cards, signed jerseys, signed helmets, and more. Miller's Sports Cards and Collectibles is your one-stop shop for all things the hobby. Make sure to check them out down Mission Street in Mount Pleasant, right past Meyer. Miller's Sports Cards and Collectibles. Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk. Join Michael Rosenkranz,
Sports take precedence over academics.
I agree, but
Ryan Donnelly,
Corbin Burns, who is their big ticket J13 item. Scooble is with us. Scooble's our big ticket.
Did
J1.
you just call Tarek Scooble James?
And Anthony Schulte.
I have an issue.
You have.
There is no break. It's a constant grind. It's an unbreakable cycle.
Yeah, it's.
As they navigate through the Detroit sports landscape. Live Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 a.m. on 101.1 The Beat in Mount Pleasant and at 11 a.m. on YouTube.
Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk.
Welcome back, Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk. Ryan Donnelly, Michael Rosenkranz, and Anthony Schulte here with you on St. Patrick's Day. Completely forgot it was St. Patrick's Day, but it's also the day after Selection Sunday, which means it's the day before the First Four tournament, which means we're just a few days away from March Madness. So,
Roll the music.
There's music?
there's music?
The March Madness theme song.
Oh,
The CBS Sports,
okay.
you know?
Okay, all right.
Make it a little festive around here.
I like it. All right, we're going to go through our brackets real quickly here. We're going to start in the South region, the top left quadrant of your bracket. We're starting with Auburn and the winner of
Alabama State.
and San Fran. What is SFPA? I'm sorry. What is SFPA?
SFPA, Snow, Hayo.
St. Francis. All right.
Doesn't matter, Auburn.
St. Francis. I'm going with Auburn. Not much to talk about there. I'm going with
No,
Auburn.
this is Auburn.
Yeah. All right, Louisville and Creighton. I'm
Louisville.
going with Creighton as an upset.
Really?
Something told me in my stomach that it's Creighton, so I'm going with Creighton.
Well, I'm going to go with Louisville. Creighton's been sluggish as of late. Louisville has been really hot. I'm going to go with Louisville.
I'm going to hop on Anthony's train. I think Creighton's going to pull off an upset. Kalkbrenner, if you can get him going down low, he is a force to be reckoned with.
I looked at that matchup and something said Creighton. And usually when that happens when you're making your bracket, even if it doesn't make sense, you click it, because usually it happens. All right, Michigan and UC San
Michigan,
Diego.
come on.
I'm going with
Michigan.
All right,
Clean up
Texas.
the turnovers and you might win.
Yeah, Texas A&M and Yale.
Yale as my upset.
Really?
Wow.
I'm going with A&M.
Yep. Something's telling me Yale. I like John Poulikilis. I think, and I also like the matchup with Danny Wolf playing his old former team in the tournament. Revenge game. I'm going with Yale as my upset.
I like it.
I talked to Ryan off the air about potentially seeing Danny Wolf play against Yale. I think I got to stick with A&M on this one,
okay.
though.
All right, so you're sticking with A&M. I'm going with A&M. All right, Ole Miss in the winner of SDSU and North Carolina, who doesn't deserve to be here.
Punk.
I'm going with Ole Miss, just because even if North Carolina wins, they're not winning against Ole Miss. The SEC is stacked, and UNC shouldn't even be here. So
Agreed.
I'm
Ole
going with Ole
Miss.
Miss.
Oh, they want all their blue bloods in the tournament. It doesn't matter, Ole Miss.
All right, Iowa State and Lipscomb.
Lipscomb?
Yes,
A school I've never even heard of. Give me the
They're-
Cyclones.
they're often in the tournament, but I'm going with Iowa State here.
Their
That's
leading
obvious.
scorer averages 20 a game. Doesn't matter. Iowa State.
Yep. All right, Marquette and New Mexico. I'm gonna go with.
You know what? Give me the upset. I'm taking New Mexico State. Richard.
I like
Richard
New
or Rick
Mexico
Pitino?
State too. Something's telling me New Mexico State.
One of the Patinos coaches at New Mexico. I got to go with them.
I know the Patinos are really good when it comes to coaching. Ooh, man, this is tough. Oh, my
So
goodness.
it's the 8 and 9s and the 7 and 10s.
I'm going to go Marquette.
Okay.
All right, so Michigan State and Bryant.
Michigan State.
This will be Michigan
Izzo and
State.
March.
All right, we're going to go over to the east side
Oh,
of the
okay.
bracket here. So we're going to stay kind of in this top little half of our bracket. Duke and the winner of the 16 seed, I'm going with Duke, even if they don't have Cooper Flag. I think Duke is better than whatever 16 seed will be there.
Agreed.
It's just,
This is Duke.
I think it's going to be Duke, but I don't think they go far.
Especially if Cooper Flag is injured and your opponent can stop Duke's three-point shooting, they're not going to go far. Give me Duke for this one, but Duke could make an early exit this year.
They could. All right, Mississippi State and Baylor. I'm going to go with Baylor.
Okay.
I want to go
I'm
with
gonna go
Baylor, too.
These 8 and 9s are hard to pick.
They are very
These 8 and
hard
9s
to
are hard
pick.
to pick.
I'm going to go with Mississippi State.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, Oregon and Liberty.
Liberty, Liberty, Liberty.
I'm going with the Ducks.
Liberty.
You're going with the Ducks. I'm going to do an upset. Let's go Liberty.
Yep.
Okay.
The Conference USA is a very underrated conference. Liberty is 28-6. They blew through that tournament. It's absolutely mauled all their opponents. I think Oregon is getting slow, and Liberty is getting hot at the right moment. I'm going with Liberty as my upset.
Oregon's favored by 6.5. But Liberty, for being a 12 seed, They're only plus 250. So that's a good upset pick. All right, Arizona and Akron. I'm going to go with Arizona, even though
It'd be cool to pick the MAC team, but
It would.
I'm going to stick with Arizona.
I feel like
too.
Arizona's got they've got a lot of firepower, and they're favored by 13.5.
Yeah,
As much as I
Arizona.
hate-
I'm going with Arizona.
As much as I hate Caleb Love, I have to pick.
Hey, Trey
Arizona.
Thompson though, he's on Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I
he
forgot about
is.
that.
So I'm going to
Yeah,
support
Arizona,
our boy.
go Wildcats.
All right, BYU and VCU. Here, BYU is favored by only 2.5. I'm going with VCU. 28-6. I watch college basketball, but not enough college basketball to really know what I'm talking about right now compared to like my NBA knowledge. So there's that.
I'm going to go with the upset. Let's go VCU.
I am going to go with... Now I'll join your bandwagon. Let's go VCU.
There you go.
All right. So next we have Wisconsin and Montana.
Wisconsin.
Going with Wisconsin
Wisconsin.
here.
They're favored by 17.5.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Anyways, St. Mary's and Vanderbilt.
Ooh, this one's a tough one.
I'm going to go with the Gales just because friend of the program, Tyler Brazel, is high on the St. Mary's Gales. And that conference in general. They won the conference over Gonzaga.
Yes, they did.
So
They always do.
Gonzaga usually
Gonzaga usually runs the table.
because that conference is usually not good other than St. Mary's.
It's always St. Mary's or Gonzaga in that conference.
Well, yeah, because they're the only
Who are the
teams that are
others?
competent.
Exactly.
But I'm going to go with St. Mary's here.
I am as well.
I really like St. Mary's. I think they're going to do some damage.
Lots of parity in March Madness, but I think the Gales are gonna make a deep run.
And then we have Alabama and Robert Morris. I'm going with
Alabama.
Road Tide.
Road Tide.
All right, we're going to go down to the West region now. All right, Florida, Norfolk State.
Florida.
I love
Florida.
Florida. I think Florida's a wagon. Give me Florida.
Just imagine Florida with Olivier Roux next year.
Right.
7'9". You can't guard him.
No, you can't. Thank goodness I got out of NBA 2K, my team, by the time Olivier Roux's in the NBA, because that is a cheat code.
Yes.
All right, UConn and Oklahoma. I'm going to go with UConn just because their coach has been here before. They have a lot of players from last year's championship team. They know how to win these games. I'm going to go with UConn for that reason and that reason alone.
You know, I'm torn with this game because I love Jeremiah Fears of Oklahoma, brother of Jeremy Fears of Michigan State. It's either Hurley or it's either Fears. I'm going to go with Hurley. Give me the Huskies.
Yeah,
I'm going to
Hurley's a
stick
great
with
coach.
Hurley. He's going to coach up his guys. UConn had a rough regular season, 23-10. And again, Anthony, these guys have been here before, and Dan Hurley's going to coach them up. Give me UConn.
All right, and then we have Memphis and Colorado State. Give me Colorado State. I like Colorado State in this matchup here.
I'm gonna stick with the Tigers. I like Penny.
I'm going to go with Colorado State. They went on a really good run in their conference championship last night, and I'm all for it.
All right, and then we have Maryland and Grand Canyon. I'm going to go with Maryland because Maryland, they're a good ball club over there. They're a good team. Gave Michigan a run for their money.
Definitely. Give me Maryland.
This is tough. Tyron Grant Foster was the player of March last year. He's had a slump. Give me Maryland.
All right, and then we have Missouri and Drake. Give me Drake.
Give me Drake as well.
I like Drake. They're a 30-win ball club. They know how to win ball games.
Drake is my Cinderella team.
Yeah, no, they're a good Cinderella pick too.
This is a tough one. Missouri's favored by 6.5 to open up. But you guys make really good points about Drake, though.
Yes.
You guys make really good points. Let's jump on it. Give me Drake.
All right, then we have Texas Tech and UNC Wilmington. I'm going to take Texas Tech here.
This is Texas Tech.
And then we have Kansas and Arkansas. Tough one because Kansas has struggled this season. They've gone on some bad stretches. I'm going to take Arkansas here over Kansas. I just don't have confidence in this Kansas team after their season so far this season. They've had some really, really bad stretches of basketball. It's March. Anything can happen. But I think Arkansas, I just think they've had a more well-rounded season when it comes to consistency.
This is Hunter Dickinson's probably last game before he goes into a job in accounting because his job isn't made for his style of play isn't made for the NBA. So therefore, I'm gonna go with Kansas.
All right.
Screw it.
And it's
Sticking with Kansas or Arkansas. Oh boy, this is a tough one. Let's go Arkansas.
there it is. All right, St. John's and Omaha. I'm going St. John's.
St. John's.
St. John's.
All right,
They've
let's
been a
quickly
wagon.
get through this Midwest here. Houston and SIUE. Give me Houston. Gonzaga and Georgia.
Give
Give me the Zags. I like Gonzaga. They've been here.
Let's go Gonzaga.
Gonzaga
Agreed.
is
They've been
Like
here.
7 straight Sweet 16s or something like that.
Definitely. Yep.
Gonzaga is favored to win by 6.5. I'm gonna take the odds. I'm gonna go Gonzaga.
There you go.
All right, Clemson and McNeese.
I'm gonna go Clemson here.
This is another tough one. I'm
Yeah,
also
it's a
gonna
tough
go.
one.
I'm
I
also
like
gonna go with
McNeese.
Clemson. They have better star power.
This is a toss-up for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go Clemson.
I'm sticking with Clemson.
All right, Purdue and High Point. I think Purdue pulls it off.
Yeah, this is Purdue.
There's not a lot of good upset picks in this.
no,
this side of the
definitely
bracket.
not.
Illinois and then the winner of Texas and Xavier. I'm going to go Illinois. Illinois is good.
Yes, they are. Illinois.
Kentucky and Troy. Phew.
I'm gonna go Kentucky.
I think I'm going to go Kentucky as well.
Will Kentucky blow it again? I'm going to say no. I think they're going to learn from their mistakes from last year against Oakland.
Okay. And then UCLA and Utah State.
This is
This is a tough one.
tough. Give me Utah State.
I like Utah State too. I was thinking about I like having one upset per bracket. That's the best one looking here.
Yeah, Ian Martinez is averaging just a touch under 17 points a game, along with Mason Falslove, just under 15 points a game. So it's gonna be if you can get those guys going, and same for UCLA with Tyler Bilodeau and Eric Daly. If you can get them going, Eric Daly rather, if you can get them going. Oh my gosh, this is a tough one. Oh man, UCLA's picked by 5.5. Give me UCLA.
Taking
That's
UCLA.
not a confident pick though.
Not confident. And then we have Tennessee and Wofford.
Wofford is the worst team in
Tennessee.
this tournament. I'm going to go with Tennessee.
All right. So now I'm going to go through the rest of my bracket here, and I'm going to try and do it as quickly as possible. All right. So in the South, Auburn, Creighton, I'm taking Auburn. Then Michigan, Texas A&M, I'm taking Michigan. And then Ole Miss, Iowa State, taking Iowa State there. New Mexico and Michigan State, I'm taking Michigan State. Then in my Sweet 16, or is that Final Four?
Sweet 16. It should be.
Yeah, okay. Sweet 16, Auburn and Michigan. I'm taking Auburn. I don't think Michigan can pull it off against Auburn. I really like Auburn. And then Iowa State and Michigan State. I went with Michigan State, but that's tentative to change. But regardless, I have Auburn going to the Final Four. On my east side, Duke and Baylor. I think Baylor pulls off the win against Duke. I think, especially if they don't have Cooper Flagg, it's a chance that he might come back for the tournament, but I'm assuming that he's not right now, and without Cooper Flagg, they're not making it past the round of 32. Give me Baylor. Oregon and Arizona, I like Arizona here, and then I'm taking Arizona to beat Baylor. VCU and Wisconsin, I'm taking Wisconsin, and then St. Mary's and Alabama, I'm taking St. Mary's.
Oh.
Alabama had a really, really rough game against, I think it was Florida. And while Alabama's the top scoring team, I think they could get upset here. So I'm going to take St. Mary's to beat Alabama, and then Wisconsin to beat St. Mary's. And then you have Wisconsin and Arizona, and I have Wisconsin beating Arizona. I think Wisconsin's a good team. I think yesterday in that championship game, both teams looked very tired, very sluggish, and that's why it was a very low-scoring game. Shots weren't falling. At least for a little bit, it was a low-scoring game. So that's why I'm going with Wisconsin there. I think Wisconsin's a very good team, and they could get it done in the tournament. All right, going down to my west side. Florida and UConn, I'm going with Florida here. Colorado and Maryland, I'm going with Maryland. And then the winner of Florida-Maryland, I'm going with Florida. Texas Tech and Drake, going with Drake again.
Yep.
And then Arkansas and St. John's, I'm going with
That was a tough one.
I'm going to go with St. John's. That's the battle of Calipari and Patino.
It is.
Right there. So I'm going to go with St. John's to win because St. John's has been a wagon all season long. Am I missing a game here? Oh, no, never mind. I picked the Florida, Maryland. I picked Florida. And then the winner of Drake and St. John's, I'm going St. John's, and then Florida to beat St. John's. All right, to my other side, Houston and Gonzaga, I'm picking Houston. Purdue and Clemson picking Purdue. Illinois, Kentucky, I'm taking Illinois over Kentucky.
Go.
And then Tennessee against Utah State, I'm taking Tennessee. Winner of Tennessee, Illinois, I'm taking Tennessee. Winner of Purdue, Houston, I'm taking Houston. And then the winner of Houston versus Tennessee, I really like Houston's guard play. I'm going to take Houston there as well, which brings me to my final four. Auburn, Florida, Wisconsin, Houston. I'm going with Florida over Auburn and Houston over Wisconsin. Tentatively, it's 2 1 seeds. I don't really like 2 1 seeds, but in the grand scheme of things, I think there's a little bit more. It's a little bit more top heavy this year with the 1 seeds.
Yeah.
The 1 seeds are very good, and I think
Very
they could go the distance for sure. And I think Florida is going to win the NCAA championship this year. I'm very high on Florida this year. That is my pick.
Okay.
There you go.
That's how quick we should probably go through these.
All right.
We're running out of time.
I'll go really quick. Auburn and Louisville in my South region. I'm going to go with Auburn. Yale, Michigan. It's a battle. It's a Danny Wolf revenge game. I'm going to go with Michigan. There we go. Ole Miss, Iowa State. This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to go with the upset. That's not really an upset. Iowa State. It's not even an upset at all. Izzo and Patino. I'm going to go with Izzo. In the West region, Florida versus UConn. Florida. Memphis versus Maryland. I'm going to go. Ooh, this is tough. I'm going to go with Memphis as my upset. Drake and Texas Tech. I'm going to go with Drake. Kansas and St. John's. This is the end of Hunter Dickinson. Goodbye forever. Have fun. Crunching numbers for a job that you don't even know what to do. Mississippi State and Duke. This is tentative, but for now, I'm gonna go with Duke. Depending on if Cooper Flagg plays or not, I will switch my pick. Arizona and Liberty. I'm gonna go with Arizona. VCU and Wisconsin. Alabama and St. Mary's. As much as I understand the upset for St. Mary's and Alabama, I'm gonna go with Alabama. Their 3-point shooting is inevitable. Mm-hmm. And finally, in the Midwest, Houston and Gonzaga. We're going to go with Houston. Clemson and Purdue. Clemson. Illinois and Kentucky. I'm going to go with Kentucky. Utah State and Tennessee. Tennessee, they're a wagon. Moving on to my Sweet 16. Trey Donaldson revenge game. Michigan, Auburn.
You want to take Michigan.
He wants to take Michigan so bad.
Screw it! Go blue, baby!
He is taking Michigan.
See, I like that because I want to see Michigan State.
Exactly, the Elite Eight, and that's why for Iowa State, Michigan State, I'm going to go with Michigan State. Florida versus Memphis, Florida. Drake and St. John's. Oh, this is going to be tough. Screw it. Give me Drake to make the Elite Eight.
Wow.
30-3. They're good.
I like it.
Duke and Arizona. Oh, no, that's tough. I've had my fun. I'm going to go with Duke. Wisconsin versus Alabama. I'm going to go Wisconsin here. Houston and Clemson. Again, Houston's guard play. LJ Cryer and Emmanuel Sharp have been solid for Houston. I'm going to go with Houston. Haven't looked like the best team in March, but Kentucky, Tennessee. I'm going to go with Tennessee. Elite Eight, Michigan State.
I want to switch my picks so bad.
Man.
This is tough.
I want to switch my picks so bad.
This Michigan State.
Screw it, I'm doing it. I'm switching
He
from
is
Auburn.
switching his
I'll
picks.
switch. I want to see Michigan State so bad, and I'm picking Michigan to beat Michigan State. And Michigan will win when it matters the most.
Yes.
I want Michigan. I love Michigan. They've been my team for 11 years. However, I think this is the end of the road for them. I'm going to take Michigan State to make my Final Four. Drake in Florida. I want to make the push for Drake, but I think this is as deep as they can get. I'm going to go with Florida. Duke and Wisconsin. I might switch this, but I'm going to go with Duke. And then Houston and Tennessee. Screw it, I'm going to take Tennessee. So my Final Four looks like Michigan State, Florida, Duke, and Tennessee. Michigan State and Florida. Give me Michigan State.
Oh, I don't like that.
Way,
dude. Florida is so.
My
okay.
man is in a world of his own right now.
Everybody is entitled to their own opinions and their own brackets. I will not say anything.
With Duke and Tennessee, I'm gonna go this again. This is all if Cooper Flag plays, so I'm gonna go Duke, and then Duke, Michigan State is my national championship.
I don't know if I like that.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Do not. No.
my national champion is the Duke Blue Devils.
Really?
Wow.
Okay. Thank goodness he didn't say Michigan State.
No, absolutely not.
And again, that's all depending on if Cooper Flag plays.
This is all
Yeah.
Cooper Flag. If he doesn't play, his entire bracket is going to be
We
changed.
will on Wednesday. If any changes happen to our brackets, we will update them.
So as of right now,
We will update you guys on our brackets.
this ankle injury looks temporary. I'm gonna go with.
He was in a wheel. He got the Paul Pierce treatment.
but he.
Maybe it isn't an ankle sprain, if you know what I mean.
Oh my!
It's not an ankle sprain.
No.
Michael, I have some kinks to make. So Michael, go ahead.
Go ahead, Michael.
Okay,
Go ahead,
what a segue
let's-
to that.
let's,
I gotta
let's
turn
speed through
into
this here.
Eminem rapping on Godzilla here. Okay, Auburn, Creighton, Auburn, Michigan, Texas A&M. I'm going Michigan. Ole Miss, Iowa State. Let's go Iowa State. Marquette, Michigan State. Give me Michigan State in a rematch from a couple years ago. Going to the East, Duke and Baylor. Give me Baylor.
There you go.
Liberty, Arizona. Give me Arizona. VCU, Wisconsin. Give me Wisconsin. St. Mary's, Alabama. Give me Alabama.
I kind of want to change that now. I don't know.
And then jumping down to the west, Florida, UConn, give me Florida. Colorado State, Maryland, give me Maryland. Drake, Texas Tech, give me Drake.
There you go.
Thank you.
Arkansas, St. John's, give me St. John's. Then jumping to the Midwest, Houston, Gonzaga, give me Houston. Clemson, Purdue, give me Purdue. Illinois and Kentucky, give me Illinois. And then UCLA, Tennessee, give me Tennessee. Let's jump back up to the Sweet 16. Auburn, Michigan, give me Auburn. Then I'm going to go Iowa State, Michigan State, give me Iowa State.
Yes.
And then I'm going to go to the, oh gosh, I'm losing where I'm at. Let's go to the East. Baylor, Arizona, give me Arizona. Wisconsin, Alabama, give me Wisconsin
Okay.
over Alabama. And then we'll jump back down to the West. Florida, Maryland, give me Florida. Drake, St. John's, give me St. John's. I think that's where Drake ends, unfortunately. Houston, Purdue, give me Houston. Illinois, Tennessee, give me Tennessee. And then let's stay in the West here just so I can see these teams a little more clearly. Florida, St. John's, give me give me Florida.
Okay,
give me Florida.
Thank you.
Not St. John's, give me Florida. Houston, Tennessee, give me Tennessee
Okay.
over Houston.
I can respect that.
And then let's jump back up to the final matches here up in the South and East. Auburn, Iowa State, give me Auburn. Arizona, Wisconsin, give me Wisconsin over Arizona. So my final four looks like this. Auburn, Florida, and Wisconsin and Tennessee. Auburn, Florida, give me Florida. Wisconsin, Tennessee, give me Tennessee. National champion, Florida versus Tennessee. Give me the Florida Gators.
All right.
Okay.
I like it
And I made some changes to my bracket.
already.
Did you?
Yes, I did. So my final four, I had Duke being upset by Mississippi State. I had Arizona win against Mississippi State. Duke versus Arizona, or not Duke, sorry. Wisconsin, Arizona. I had Wisconsin. My final four, it looks like Michigan State, Florida, and Wisconsin and Tennessee. My national championship looks like Michigan State, Tennessee. I hate to say this, but my national champion is the Michigan State Spartans.
He changed it, man. He
And the Michigan
changed
jersey
it.
is wild.
Hate me all you want, but listen.
I thought you were a Michigan fan, dude.
Listen, okay, listen to me. Listen. Michigan State, they're damn good. They're really good.
They are good.
They had Jace Richardson, 13 point per game scorer. He's really good. Cullen Carr is a freak athlete. Carson Cooper is probably one of the best defensive centers in college. I mean, Michael, I see it. Michigan State, I think they're going to win. I hate to say it. I really do. I hate to say it, but Michigan State is your national champion.
Wow. Well, those are our brackets. These are all subject to change, of course. All right. Well, that's all we have for today's show. Thank you for tuning in to Card Guys Season 4, Episode 15 on 101.1 The Beat and YouTube. Tune in Wednesday as we check in on the Lions off-season free agency just got going over break. We also check in on some NFL free agency and the Tigers spring training. That's right, more Javi. For my good buddies Ryan Donnelly and Michael Rosenkranz, I'm Anthony Schulte saying so long, everybody.
Love you, Mom and Dad. It was great to see you over the break.
If you smell